Hey everyone, welcome to a game of Brand featuring myself, Nubius. Yes, that is my main summoner name. I'm sure some of you might check. I'm in the mid 1600s at the moment, but that's pretty irrelevant. I chose this game because number one, um, I didn't feel like doing another Wind Shaman game because he's putting a lot of submissions, and I don't want people to get tired of his games because I want to do a bunch more of them eventually. And number two, this game of mine, I mean, I pretty much got carried, and I just want to go over my mistakes so people can understand how to judge the mistakes that they make. But with that being said, I'm just going over my room page for mid mages for the most part. I have 21 magic resist, and then I take the 3 AD in the 3 AD in the offensive masteries. And I also have 6 AP from runes. But pretty much my goal is to get as much farm as I can while taking as minimal harass from their mid laner as possible.
An enemy has been slain.
And so you see the other team had a pretty terrible invade, so we took advantage of that. Got a free 3 kills out of that, and I think that will pretty much win the game for us, no matter how you look at it, because if you look who got the kills, it was our AP carry as Brand, our Nocturne, which Nocturne, once he gets strong, there's no stopping him, and then our Sivir. The 3 people that you really want to get fed got 1 kill each and either 1 or 2 assists as well. So our two, I'd say, more supporting characters would be our top lane and our support, and they got assists out of that, which is pretty much the best thing you can do. So Alistar's getting a free, Nocturne's getting a free blue with Alistar. And our blue is still up over here. I don't think that their jungler turns around and tries to steal it. But in other words, I picked up an Amplifying Tome. People are thinking, why should I pick up an Amplifying Tome? I mean, there's no defensive stuff, it's just 20 AP. Not really a big deal for Brand. I took the Amp Tome because I saw I was a little bit behind on farm off the bat, and I wasn't sure how good this Twisted Fate was going to be at farming. I wanted to get a Cage's pick so I can get a Deathfire Grasp, because the new Deathfire Grasp is a lot of AP and a lot of burst.
An ally has been slain. An enemy has been slain.
So I took a lot of pretty much free harass out of that for no good reason. I was just kind of running around. I think I might have been watching the mini-map. See, once again, just running right into stuff. Normally that's not how I play. I'm generally a lot more aware than that, but I'm just being careless. For some reason, just being careless. I'm trying to just... I think I was pretty much staring at the farm and at the same time watching the mini-map, which normally is a good thing, but not when their mid laner is right in front of you. Very nice as Nocturne donated me an early blue, so I can pretty much push the lane around and farm as I please. So I can be a lot more aggressive with my harassing because I'll get that mana right back instead of worrying about if I don't land my harass, then I'll be kind of screwed and out of mana. So this puts their TF on the defensive side. And a big thing about landing against this Twisted Fate is I believe he has 0 magic resist. Yeah, he has 0 bonus magic resist. And as Brand, I tend to go for early Spellpan Shoes because his passive is actually going to do your most amount of damage. So what you want to do is you want to pretty much... You'll get 1 point E at level 1 just so you can land free damage from your passive. And then after that, you'll keep going back and forth between W and Q. Because Q, the mana cost never goes up. It never ever goes up. It's the cheapest harassing ability in the game, besides energy users.
An ally has been slain.
So the big thing is if your lane opponent isn't behind creep, Q is definitely the best thing you can use to harass.
An enemy has
Second
been
best would
slain.
probably be your E, but that's only at low levels because that does scale in mana. So if you want to get a guaranteed harass when he's behind creep, you'll use your E Just use it on them because it'll proc 2% of their max health for 4 seconds. So that's 8% of their max health every time you land a spell on them. And on top of that, as you have your passive doing 8% of their health, that passive will also enhance your abilities on brand. So even though leveling up your Q doesn't give you more damage from your enhanced passive, it does give you more base damage for very low mana cost. The second thing is Pillar of Flame. It's a very, very strong AoE ability, especially if you get a little bit fed. And with the blaze, with your passive on your enemy, it increases the damage by 25%. That's quite a lot, especially at rank 2, it's doing 139 damage. 25% of that is, let me be slow on that, it's roughly 30 damage more. Which, immediately it's not that big of a deal, but if you're getting your Conflag and spreading your passive to everyone, and then you land a Pillar of Flame at rank 2 that's doing an extra 30 damage, think about it. Against 5 people, that's an extra 150 damage that normally you wouldn't be doing. So I overextend a bit. Master Yi takes advantage of that, and the combination of TF and E burst get me dead pretty quickly. But I have a kill and assist. I think I might be ahead in farm. I was ahead in farm on TF. So I picked up a Cage's Pick, get me some gold per 10, along with some AP. A Doran's Ring for some regen and health. No, I don't really care about the AP. A ward and a health pot. The ward's a big thing. Even though I get a little stupid again after this, I believe. I think I go to ward. And they're waiting right in the bush.
An ally has been slain.
So it's a little later on. But I know that TF's bot, so I'm going to push this up really fast. That's what you need to do. You need to push your lane up really fast. Because then it's getting free damage on the tower just by having the creeps attack it. TF's missing out on gold because he's running from bot to mid. And you're going to start pulling ahead just in terms of farming gold. Now, if you saw what I just did there, I fired my Q first. I fired the Q first, and in midair, I landed my E. So what happens is, he doesn't have time to react to me landing an E, seeing I have my passive, and then trying to fire off a Q. It's all at the same time, so he has to react in a split second. So that comes down to my last video is explaining how to dodge skill shots, and that's where that would be important. So I got my blue back from TF, which is pretty nice. Just helping Nocturne out on damage, always a good thing. And then Nocturne smited early, so my passive ticked off and actually gave me the blue again. So right here, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get as much damage in as I can without receiving any myself. Because just like with an AD carry, AP carry, you kind of want to get in there, use your abilities and get the hell out of there so you can reset your timers and go back and do it again. Because AP carries, once they get a bunch of levels, they scale extremely well. It doesn't really matter as much what items you have, as long as the other team doesn't have magic resist. So as long as you can get up in levels and stay alive, your combos of spells are going to be bursting down the other team's health in a big way. So you see, we just won that team fight very nicely. No, I don't think... Nope, no one died. I don't believe. And so now we're getting a free dragon out of this. And there's nothing they can do, because their Janna died, that's their big support. She can't keep the AD or anyone else alive with her ult or anything. So the rest of these guys are just left to rot. So we go back and buy. I believe I'm going to be getting spell pen shoes right off the bat here. If I'm smart, I'd be doing that. Yep, pick those up. Maybe grab another Doran's Ring, get me a little more regen, which actually, the blue buff, it'll increase your mana regen by, it'll give you a bonus mana regen and then increase the total mana regen by 0.5% per second. So the more mana regen you have, the better your mana regen is going to be with blue. Not many people realize this. They think that, oh, I have blue, so I have unlimited mana. No. You need some mana regen runes, and you need a Doran's Ring or 2, maybe 3, unless you have a Tear of the Goddess. So I missed 2 or 3 CS just because kind of tunnel visioning and then trying to look at where TF went. So this is the part where I go to ward. I'll push this lane, and when I go to ward, TF and E will be right there. I didn't realize how long it was actually taking to clear this lane. So right when I get up into this bush to go ward, they'll be right there. Just a really dumb mistake on my part. 'Cause that's going to give them a blue buff. At least it gives you the blue buff and not myself, but still pretty dumb on my part to just run in there after that much time. So I'm sitting there saying, oh, they got there pretty fast. But little did I know that I was just being dumb when I should have warded and then came back to push the lane. So my ult really isn't wasted because when I died with blue, I used it and so I had a lot shorter cooldown. So you see, it was probably around 70 seconds or so. Not that big of a deal. So I'll get back in lane, push a little bit, and by that time my ult should be back up. So I'm not worried about my ult. Let's just look at the totals for right now. I'm actually feeding. It seems like I'm feeding a bit. But I believe I am, yes, I am definitely beating TF because I have 1 gold per 10 item and more farm. 1 gold per 10 item, more farm, and I have another kill on top of him. Even though he has 1 more assist, the gold per 10 item along with the 1 more kill is going to be a huge amount in gold difference. So he with the Triple Thorns route, not exactly the best of ideas. Right there, I got sloppy. I've just been sloppy this whole game. Like I said in the beginning, I pretty much got carried. I should have waited for Brand to run away a little. I mean, for you to run away a little bit before I ulted, because then that E definitely would have died. Would have yielded me, a red and a blue buff, and a kill. So I'm kind of treating this like a Viger gameplay. Well, I kind of played this like Viger because I'm just throwing my ult immediately, even though there's nothing next to him. So I'm landing skill shots, which is good. It's always good to know that you're landing skill shots in a game, but it's bad to know that you're overreacting to things that are happening. I'm not being patient. And patience when you're playing Brand is a big deal, because if you're not patient, not just as Brand, but as any sort of AP carry, you have to be patient when you use your abilities, because yes, they're high damage, but a lot of AP carries, their abilities are on 7+ second cooldowns. So if you're missing that one ability, you may think, oh, it's up in 7 seconds. But at the same time, if the other AP carry is landing his stuff, it's just putting you way behind, because that's a lot more damage that you or someone else shouldn't be taking, because you should have had that guy already dead. So I'm kind of staying back because I don't have enough vision. I'm kind of waiting for TF to roam, which he's doing right now. So I decided to turn back around, thinking that he might port onto me, and I see that he's down there, gets a kill. I'm thinking maybe I can clean up, maybe I can do something with the Sivir down here, because she still has her ult, so we can still chase. But now, here's where I get really dumb once again. Blow the ult way too early. I thought that Triss might jump in, so yeah, it's definitely, I think I thought it through a lot better that time, but at the same time, I didn't let Sivir know that was coming. I didn't let Sivir know I was coming, even though she could have known that I was there. I stayed too long on the Janna with no one else there. So even if I got my ult off on her, I got her low, but I'm feeding Yi. I'm feeding Tristana. I'm having a very, very bad game. And I'm making excuses right here just because I'm doing awful. I know that I'm playing awful, so I'm not blaming anyone. But I'm making excuses, which no one needs to do. That was almost a smart play on Brand's part if he didn't jump into a TF that could stun. Would have been better for him just to keep running and maybe try to outrun Yi. But I pick up a Blasting Wand here because I'm trying to finish off my Deathfire Grasp. Because the only way that you can really defeat a Yi before he runs away is to burst him down. That was my rationale with that. don't think I was very effective in doing that. My combo